Yeah, I knew I was gonna get cut off, but I figured I'd try to squeeze a couple more words in, but I got cut off, so that's all right. When in reading response logs, with journals, you can do it a couple different ways. You can have a topic, or you can have a conversation, and that's a cool thing about a conversation journal. It's the student writes down something, then he hands the journal to someone else, and then they respond to their writing. And they could perhaps ask a question or make a comment, and then they hand it back to the next person, and it just continues like this. And so this journal occurs between like two, maybe three, maybe four people, depending on who's involved in it. Or it could just be the teacher and the student, or it might just be the student by themselves. It just depends on how the journal is set up. Anyway, participation in grand conversation or literature circles. And I believe I showed you a video on literature circles last day. So I'm not going to put up another video for you to watch. So you might notice that there isn't very many things for you to do in this class, and that's because it's a class that doesn't exist. So I'm not going to make you do any extra work that you don't have to do. So I'm just going to change slides. So stage 4 is all about exploring the textbook and examining how the author came up with the story, the words that he chose. Are there new vocabulary words that you need to know? And the last thing you're going to do in the exploring part is a mini lesson on the text. On page 170, you will find all of these bullets. And then you'll also find these bullets are expanded upon. So you'll find rereading the text, and then you'll find examining the author's craft, and then you'll find focusing on new vocabulary words. So I'm going to skip the rereading of the text because I think that's pretty obvious. But if you go down to examining the author's craft, and this is something I've already spoken with you about, so it's nothing really new. I talked about storyboards, and I don't have a drawing tool in this program because it's just my PowerPoints. Unfortunately, I don't think I can draw with this anyway. Maybe I can. Hyperlink, no. Nope, can't do it. Unless there's something here. No. I can use that to point to make this easier anyway. Anyway, we're examining the author's craft. Basically, they talk about storyboarding here, and I've shown you what it looks like, but I'll go and grab a screenshot or something of what it looks like so that you can kind of remember of what it was I've talked to you in the past was, and then you'll go, oh yeah, I remember I'm talking about that now. So I'll just go grab it and I'll be right back. You won't even know I'm gone. Okay, so this is a professional storyboard. It's not an amateur one, obviously. So basically, you've got a bunch of boxes, and then you have things that happen in each box, and then below it, you might have text, or you might have text within the box. It just depends on what you want. Almost any story that is made today, they probably start off with the storyboard. So they start off with probably the first scene in the book. It's like what happens in the first scene of the book, and then they draw it out, and what happens in the second scene in the book, and so on. And then you can easily take the book and make it into a movie by doing the exact same thing. So take one thing and just slowly build upon it. So this is just one example, but I got this from a storyboard one. Hopefully nothing inappropriate comes up. I'm always afraid to hit images. Here we go. So there is some blank templates, and I'm not sure what you're seeing on your end, but they're all over the place. This is the one I wanted to show. Oops. Right, I don't have that program, so I can't drag it. There's another version. Anyway, back to the PowerPoint. That's what storyboarding looks like. it talks about it in this book here. Um, and focusing on new words, that would be like word walls or word clusters or cluster diagrams or stuff like that. So I would normally draw one, but it can't. And I've shown you what they look like already, and I think I've shown you a picture of what a word wall looks like. So just go back to a previous recording if you forget. And then the last part is mini lessons, and the mini lessons are actually on page 171, not on 170. So that brings us to stage 5, extending. So readers move beyond comprehension to broaden their deeper interpretations, reflect on their understanding, and value their reading experience. Students build on their reading, the responses they made immediately after reading, and the exploring activities as they engage in projects. These projects can involve reading, writing, speaking, and drama, viewing, visually representing, or research, and are often interactive with other readers. They may take many forms, including murals, readers' theater, scripts, oral presentations, written digital text, as well as reading other books by the same author. A list of extending projects is presented in Figure 5-3, which is on page 172. Anyway, these examples are not in your textbooks. Murals, readers' theater scripts, actually they talked about it. Oral presentations, written text, projects. Oops, where'd it go? Yeah, undo. I didn't know I could change the formatting in here. Wow, there we go. Anyway, that was that part. And these are some neat activities that you can help kids learn how to write with. So if they're just learning how to write, there's something called Space Faces. Basically, it's a popsicle stick, and then you take a happy face stamper and you put the stamp on the top part. I'm not sure how well that comes out, but that's what those are. And then basically, as they write a word, they put the space face popsicle stick down, and then they write next to it. So that gives them the perfect amount of spacing between each words when they're just learning how to write. There's another one here on writing practice. So on index cards, you write a letter of the alphabet, and then underneath you make a dotted letter for the student to trace. Then what you can do is laminate the card, and then they can trace and erase using a erasable pen. And normally I would show you what one of those looks like, but I don't have access to my camera in this program, so I can't show you. But I think you all know what an erasable marker looks like. So there's more writing practice here. So glue some velvet or some other plush fabric to an 8.5 by 11 or smaller piece of cardboard. And students can then use this to make letters with their fingers. I believe I showed you a video for dyslexic children in 108. If you're in that course, it actually shows them writing on the velvet. In one of the videos, I remember watching it going, that's in my other course as well. I should have put the video in here for you, but I didn't. Because of that course. Anyway, if you don't have access to that course, maybe you want to give me an email. I'll see if I can add it to this course. Just smooth the fabric back down and start again. So this is great for kids who need the tactile or the touch sense, and also for visual students as well. And if kids are struggling with B